Hey friend, John MacLennan here, and in this video we're going to dive into some phrasing tips from B.B. King. Now this is a bit of a part 2 to a lesson that I already posted breaking down some of these guitar licks in a very popular video here on YouTube. Now there's a few more licks I wanted to cover, and my goal with this video is that you can take some of these phrases and start working them out on the guitar, and really this is going to help you get a real blues sound, especially when it comes to playing solos and improvising. Real quick before we dive in though, you're going to want to make sure you grab my fretboard guide at the first link down below. And this is going to show you the 5 chords and scales and how they connect together, just like what we're going to talk about in this video. So if you really want to improve your guitar playing and knowledge of putting this all together, grab this guide, go to johnmaclennan.com/fretboard guide or click the first link down below. So hope you enjoy that, and with that said, let's dive into this lesson.
Put the note in that sounds good. In other words, you may not run the whole chord. For instance, like we're in G, right? Well, if a guy is fast and can do it, like I know a lot of the guys got fast fingers and can do, well, my fingers are not so fast, so I think I used the word I called trading
speed for taste, maybe.
Yeah. So I would do, in the G chord, I might hit the tonic, push up on the C there, push it up to D again. Mm-hmm.
Right.
Back to the B
and
flat.
There's that bend again when you just
yeah. Well, that's what I hear. So I'll take the 4 of the G,
right,
which is the C, right?
Right.
But I don't want to hit it. I don't want to hit the D first, so I like to slide up to it.
So notice how BB says in the G chord he's going to go to the tonic. So let's look at that on guitar. So if you have a G shape here like this, he goes up to the 8th fret of the 2nd string. Now I think about that as part of this chord. If you know your caged system, that's your C shape. And this is really key to understanding the BB box. He plays out of this shape all the time. Now this shifts off to the side of it. He starts on that note, then he brings his finger down 1 string to the 8th fret of the 1st string, bends it up, then brings it down to natural 8, then 6 with a little push on that note, and then back to 8 where you started on the tonic. So then after that, he finishes with this cool little phrase on the 6th fret of the 1st string. And you just play that note and you just bend it a little bit. And a lot of blues phrases do this. You'll be playing a lick, it'll hit the final note, ba, then ba, and you just go back to that flat 3rd there on the 6th fret of the 1st string.
Mm-hmm.
right.
Back to the B
And
flat.
there's that bend again when you just
Yeah. Well, that's what I hear.
Now check this out. Here he mentions that you take that B flat and you just nudge it between B flat and B, and that is the idea. There are certain notes in the phrase that you want to pull just a little bit, and you actually bend them out of tune, and that's what makes it sound good.
Then I'd go back to the 1 again.
So here he says, then I'd go back to the 1 again. So again, the 1 chord, or he starts out on the root. This time though, it's on the 3rd fret of the 1st string. So instead of being up at this root, which might look like this chord here, now we're back down to this. This would be like an E shape if you know your caged system here. We're gonna start on that 3rd fret of the 1st string, then walk down. So here we have the same thing again. We're starting on that 3rd fret, and then we're walking down 6, 3, 5, 3. This is like pentatonic scale. Then you finish on the root. That's as far as you walk down the 5th fret of the 4th string. So Now notice this pull here on the 3rd fret of the 3rd string. That's the same as like what we were talking about up here when we went. It's actually the same move, just down the octave.
Then, if I got enough time again and want to play around with it just a little bit, to the 5,
That would be the
right?
5 chord, right?
So now we're moving to the 5 chord, which would be a D in the key of G. So the shape that I would associate here would look like this, just a D7. You know, again, coming out of this shape from caged. Your root is on the 5th fret of the 5th string. It's also on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string there. So this lick goes. Again, you can hear how that flows over that D7 chord. So what I'm doing is playing the 3rd fret of the 2nd string, then bending up 5, a whole step, which trying to get to that note F sharp. Then you grab 3-5 on the 1st string, and then you come back down to the root of the D chord.
Then we come back down to the 8th fret again.
Then here he says come back down to the 8th fret, and that means coming down from the 5 chord, D7, down to a C, which here he's got this shape up at the 8th fret, and he plays this lick. So that's bending the 10th fret to the 12th fret, which is part of your C chord. Coming off this shape or bending up to this shape. Again, same chords from caged. Then, great little B.B. King blues lick here. This is 10 on the 2nd string. Bend it up and release it down to 8 with a pull off. Then grab 9 on the 3rd string and back to 8 on the 2nd string. So all together, just keep this C chord in your mind. Then he finishes with just 3 notes here. We're gonna bend the 10th fret of the 2nd string, then do a little rest, then play the 10th fret on the 1st string, then the 8th fret on the 2nd string. And there you are, back on your tonic, right where we started. So as you go through, you can visualize these shapes and see how the licks fall off of the chords.
So I haven't played that many notes, but it's still
But
kind
you've
of going
said
to the
everything that
pattern.
needs to be said.
So there, BB makes a great point. He says, hey, I haven't played very many notes, and you don't need a lot of notes, but it's how you phrase it and just little simple ideas that BB played, but were really effective. Now, I want to make a point here. Notice that BB didn't mention, well, you know, this is blending the Mixolydian scale together with the Ionian scale, and you know, he also didn't say, oh, I'm using the minor to the major pentatonic. You know, even the interviewer next to him, it seems like that guy's more theoretical and can think about things that way, but BB just, you know, is thinking about, hey, I'm playing this off this chord here, I'm playing this off this chord here, this is a G, this is a C. It's very simple in terms of theory, but again, it's making great music with just some basic ideas. So hope you got some value out of today's video. To help you put this together even more, be sure to click the link below and grab my fretboard guide. And this is going to show you the 5 must-know chords and scales. It's going to tie in directly with what we were talking about with knowing your pentatonic phrases and your chord shapes and how the chords and the scales go together, which is going to give you more fuel for the fire to put this together and start getting the soloing sounds that you want. So click the first link below. Again, you can grab this PDF completely for free, or just go to johnmclennan.com/fretboard guide. Next, I want to hear from you. Leave a comment below and let me know the #1 song that you would like to see me teach here next on the channel. As always, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you have an amazing day, and we'll catch you in another video real soon.